welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. If it's your first time here on my channel, welcome. I haven't been on this channel in a very long time. I look very oily around here. Well, it has been a very long time coming of me coming back on this channel, but doing it in a whole different way, and just bringing more value to everyone, anyone that chooses to watch, so to speak. So for those of you that are new to this channel, that are just dropping in, and for those of you that have been here for a while and been subscribed for a while and have been holding on to the lighting has changed, and that have been holding on for dear life to see if I would put out any content in the future, I'm back. I'm here and I am planning to just do it. I am ripping off the band-aid. I am gonna sit down and give you what I've been saying I've been wanting to give you for a long time, and that is your mortgage guide. Everything to do with mortgages, everything to do with buying a home, maintaining your existing mortgage, and just the life of your mortgage, giving you that information, being that person that you can come to and ask those questions and seek out the knowledge and get the knowledge and any guidance that I can give of value to you throughout your home ownership or your investment journey as a real estate investor. So if you don't know, now you know. I am a licensed mortgage agent in Ontario, Canada, and I provide guidance to anyone that is seeking it pertaining to all things mortgages. Now, how did I get into the industry? Why did I get into the industry? So I actually come with over 9 years of banking experience. So I worked in the banking corporate world for almost 9 years, or a little bit over 9 years if I'm correct. And I worked my way from credit card department to collections to mortgage retention to handling case files for escalated files. So I come with a lot of banking history on the corporate side. Now, I've always been in love with real estate. I've been in love with real estate since high school, and I knew I always wanted to work in the industry, but I never knew which sector of the industry. And because of that, it took me a while to really navigate through where I was meant to be. I truly believe because of all the different areas I was able to navigate through in terms of my corporate career, that allowed me the background and the knowledge and expertise to get into this side of the business. So to add to that, my personal experience as a home buyer. I went through my experience purchasing my first home and now my second home. We learned a lot along the way, me and my husband, and that really allowed me to see the other side even more so of the spectrum in terms of being on the buyer side. We also were landlords for a period of time as well, and that experience also taught me a lot about being a landlord, how to use things like equity to tap into becoming a real estate investor. And I'm still learning, because in this industry, you are always learning. So my goal here on this channel is to provide you the guidance and the knowledge and the tools to be that person that you can rely on for information that can give you the guidance to make the process more seamless, to prepare you virtually, and also with additional guidance and knowledge beyond just getting the keys to the door. So with that being said, let's start off with, you've made now the decision to become a home buyer. You made that decision to no longer put the money in somebody else's pocket for rent, to pay somebody else's mortgage. You have made that decision to become a homeowner, to become an investor, to invest in something that can set you up for the rest of your life and your family. what do you need to do now that you've made that decision to become a homeowner, to buy your first home, or to buy a property in general? What is the next step? The next step is to know what you can afford. Now, what does that mean? That can mean a lot of things for a lot of different people. Now, for me in particular, I needed to know monthly what I can put towards my living expenses. So that's where that conversation will come from. You look at your income and you look at how much you're bringing in, and then you navigate through the calculations of what that would look like in terms of paying a mortgage. So you try to work backwards if you can. That's what I always try to say to some people. Some people come into the game saying they want to live in a particular location, and maybe they'll start searching online to see what properties in that particular area or location would go for. So when you do that, now you have a price point, right? You're like, okay, so I would need a mortgage of this amount. That's great. Now you know how much that area in particular would cost you. Now you need to know what you can afford, okay? So before we even call the realtor, if you choose to call the realtor, that's fine. But you need to know, based on your personal situation, what can you afford? Now, I'm gonna go all over the place with this because there's so many different angles of this you have to look at. You need to look at how much do you have saved for a down payment. Then you need to look at, okay, what is my income like? What is my cost of living gonna look like? Or what is my current cost of living in comparison to if I was to purchase a property? So you need to look at all those things. So what I want to do before I go all over the place and confuse you is really bring it back. What can you afford? Now, the average cost for living expenses . So when you're thinking about affordability, you have to look at, okay, what is my gross income? What do I bring in annually every year? And use your gross income, and then we're going to calculate how much of that gross income should be utilized for your housing. And that will determine your GDS. So that is one of the main ratios that lenders look at to determine your affordability. This needs to fall within . So when we use that calculation, we're going to be using that to determine, okay, this is how much annually this person can afford in terms of housing expense. What is that housing expense? What is that GDS? What does that include when we're talking about calculations? So the GDS includes the principal amount of the loan, the interest, taxes, which is the property taxes, and the heat. Because as you know, if you live in Canada, especially in Ontario, you have to deal with winter. And you need heat in order to survive the winter. So that will be all added together and divided over your gross income. And that will then determine what your GDS percentage is. Another ratio that they also use to determine affordability when looking at a mortgage is your TDS. What is a TDS? Your TDS is your total debt service ratio. Total debt service ratio includes, once again, the principal on the mortgage, the interest on that mortgage, the property taxes, your heat, and all other debt. So what are those other debts? Those other debts include such things as your car loan, if you have a car loan, your credit cards, things like your credit card, any loans. Now all those amounts, when totaled together, will be divided against your gross income to determine your total debt service ratio. Now, your total debt service ratio percentage cannot exceed over Now, there are many lenders out there that are willing to work with clients to exceed those numbers. Being said, working with the broker channel, for example, someone like me, a mortgage agent, allows me to then shop around beyond just the major banks that stay within those maximum ranges. Because there are other lenders out there that are willing to work with clients that don't meet the standard criteria when it comes to those particular ranges. Because some of us have other responsibilities or emergencies that came up throughout our life before starting our home ownership journey that may push us slightly over those particular maximum percentage. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. But just to give you an idea, those are some of the things that starting off we would look at in terms of mortgage agents, mortgage brokers, and the banks and lenders to determine what you as a client would qualify for in terms of a maximum mortgage amount. Now, in addition to looking at affordability and looking at your gross income in comparison to what you truly can afford based on those ranges and percentage when it comes to your gross debt service ratio, as well as your total debt service ratio, we also look at how much are you putting down as a down payment. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only cost to you as a home buyer. There are other costs associated with buying a home, and those all are covered under the closing costs. Now, that's for a whole other video, because let me tell you, the closing cost comes with a lot of other things that you may not even know that it includes, and other associated costs that may come along with purchasing that particular property. So one of the things I want to just point out to you, you can become a homeowner today. It's not something you can just do overnight unless you're set up like that. But for me personally, I had to actually plan. I had to actually prepare myself and make that decision and then work towards making that happen. And those are things that I also want to discuss on this channel. Learning about what things that you may need to do in order to, one, save for your down payment, build your credit or rebuild your credit if you've had credit issues in the past, lower your liabilities in order to get approved for a higher amount of mortgage. The next video, we're going to go deeper into the home buying process, and we're going to really focus on you as a buyer, and then we'll expand into other areas of the mortgage journey, discussing such things as if you're already an existing homeowner, what you can do to maximize your equity power. And so if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And also, if you have any questions whatsoever, please hit me down in the comment section down below. And I hope you do subscribe if you're new here, and really help to grow the channel and really be able to provide you with the guidance and the knowledge that you will need, and maybe someone you know will need, in order to start their home ownership journey, as well as maintain the life of your mortgage. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.